one of the findings is that women do not want a guy who listens to Joe Rogan's podcast. Really, is that what the study said? Or did that say 55%, which generally are the purple-haired girls, don't want to date anyone who listens to Joe Rogan? You know what I mean? And not to mention, I don't even believe that stat, but nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, or 55% of the brainwashed that you guys have, sectioned off somehow that we wouldn't go near in a million years. And actually what would happen is if one of those weak-minded imbeciles ended up dating a guy who does listen to Joe Rogan, we would completely change her mind within a week. If you have them brainwashed so much that they won't listen to Rogan, how long do you think it would take for us to change their mind? 6 dates tops. So in a shocking development to no one who pays attention to these things, they have come for Rogan now also. So they came for Russel Brand, and a little bit quieter because that, really bombarded the headlines. They had an attack on Rogan the same day as the Russel Brand thing. Everywhere. All the same outlets that were talking about this Russel Brand assault allegation thing, which we're going to talk about again in this video because it has escalated, and also new information's come out. Like, the outreach, exactly what I said in my previous video, literally exactly what I said, exactly why you should not trust these is proven now, 1 day later, and I'll tell you exactly how. But so on the same day, they're shooting their shot at Russel Brand. They also are shooting another shot at Joe Rogan, but, more specifically at us, right? People who like listening to Joe Rogan. And I'll just say us because, man, if you hate Joe Rogan, you're going to hate this video because, listen, dude, when I started this channel, one of the main focuses, when I was visualizing what I wanted this channel to be, one of the things that I very much focused on was I want the experience of watching my channel to be identical to my experience watching Rogan. In that, I want people to feel like they're hanging out with one of their friends. That's why if you go through my videos and you go, all right, Jesse on Fire, Joe Rogan, and you watch any of the ones where I have titled it, something where the mainstream media was going after Rogan, you will find me in a state of sheer, that. Like, whoa, he was on fire that day. Because I feel like they're attacking one of my good friends, and I just can't stand it because it's so disingenuous, it's so dishonest, and it's always, always, always underhanded, and they're just lying about stuff. If you were one of my good friends, you would always be able to rely on me that, like, if something underhanded and disingenuous is happening to you, I would light the person up every time. But anyway, so yeah, and this is another one of those times, and they're actually attacking you and me. As we get into the specifics on this one, they've run out of juice on him. Right? They shot their shot at Rogan and it made him bigger. Must be infuriating for them, right? But they're taking another shot and now they've taken another angle, which is actually hilarious. Hilarious. There's nothing funny about what they're doing to Russel Brand, but this is pretty funny what they're doing to Rogan because it shows how pathetic they are. And if anyone falls for this, you are the most pathetic person on earth. So there's that. Okay. Now, anyway, super quick, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Trying to hit 122,000 today. If we can get it done, that would be incredible. I promise I would subscribe if it was your channel. Treat me like I'm your friend because I think of you as my friend, and I'm asking my friends to subscribe to the channel. So, study finds that the majority of women find it a turnoff if partner listens to Joe Rogan podcast. And then here's this one too. Color us shocked. Most women don't want to date Joe Rogan fans. Okay, so, and this one is absolutely hilarious because this is like legitimately written by probably, when you visualize morons who have never listened to Joe Rogan but hate on him very consistently, this is that person and it's written that way. It is absolutely hilarious. But what's most funny about this attack, this one right here, is you have to consider this, right? Consider this. Right now, you have this incredibly serious thing going on with Russel Brand where they're saying that he assaulted a bunch of women when they went after Rogan. Now, if you've ever considered getting a Ridge wallet, now is the time. What do wallets and performance cars have in common? Hold that thought. Ridge has partnered up again with Hennessy for a summer sweepstakes.
For the first time ever, Hennessy is giving away a Velociraptor Bronco. We've partnered with the Ridge on this beautiful wallet and key holder.
Your next wallet can turn into a Hennessy Bronco Velociraptor. And here's how. Without spending $1, you can enter on their website for a chance to win a brand new upgraded Hennessy Ford Bronco or $75,000 in cash if you prefer. You get one bonus entry for every $1 you spend on the site, and custom Hennessy products come with up to 1,000 entries. If you use my link, you'll get 10 bonus entries at checkout. And that is ridge.com/Jesse. If you need another reason to buy a Ridge wallet, aside from the fact that I use them, Chael uses them, Mexican Martial Arts uses them, and everybody else uses them, they're bulletproof.
The bullet bounced back. Yeah.
It also holds up to 12 cards, plus room for cash while remaining as slim as possible. There are 30 plus colors and styles, including burnt fiber, burnt titanium, forged ember, and burnt Damascus. I have the titanium one. Now, the link is in the description, but all you got to do is go to ridge.com/Jesse, and you use my promo code JESSE to get 10% off. That's JESSE promo code to get 10% off. You know for 100% sure that they did this with Rogan also. Okay, they did for 100% sure. Absolutely no question, for sure. Someone reached out to all Rogan's previous partners. They did an entire investigation trying to get him on anything. The best they came up with is him using the N-word. Anybody who watches his show found it utterly laughable that they would paint him as a racist. Everyone came out to defend him, and his show ended up getting bigger as a result. You shot your shot. It ended up helping him. You threw a knife at him. He caught it, opened up the handle, and there was $1 million in it. Congratulations. Go f*** yourself. Okay? That's what happened with Rogan. Now, because you know that they've already dug through his past extensively, found nothing, this is what they're reduced to. Okay? This is what they're reduced to. That's why this is so funny, because it's so pathetic. Okay? Anybody who would fall for this is I just want you to know. They're doing studies and like girls won't fuck a guy who listens to Joe Rogan. So as long as you understand that, like if you did potentially want to like listen to Rogan, it's like, you're not going to get laid, man. You're not going to get laid. Hey, little man, the next generation who might consider listening to Rogan, just so you know, okay, girls are not going to sleep with you if you listen to Rogan. Wait, are you serious? Yeah. That's a real thing, dude. As you can see in this article. Right? You could see in this super credible article that says, color us shocked. Most women don't want to date Joe Rogan fans. Unbelievable. So you wouldn't want to be one of those guys that women wouldn't date, right? Right? So show me the details of that study. Oh, I would love to. This is the study that they are saying related to this Joe Rogan thing. 55% of women said they would never date a guy who listens to Joe Rogan. Oh my God. Every single article is saying this. They don't say 55%. They say study finds majority. It's the best they can do. Majority. Every single article that was written on this, the majority of women. You're like, well, how big a majority? They're all 55%. You're like, 55%. They're all, yeah, 55%. Here's my answer to that. I'd be like, 55%, huh? So I realize that you think of men as these grotesque, sex-crazed animals. You would assume that there would be like 100% of girls that I would want to have sex with, right? Well, yeah, of course you're a guy. Yeah, no, not at all. 1, nope. 2, nope. 3, no. 4, no. 5, nope. 6, nope. 7, nope. 8, nope. 9, nope. 10, yeah. Yeah, I'd take her, I wouldn't be like super excited about it, but I would do that one. 10% there. And you're like, no. How many of these girls would you be like really excited about? You're like, I don't know, maybe like 5%? 5%, right, 5%. Okay. Now, what do you think the percentage of those girls who would be concerned about dating a person who listens to Joe Rogan would be? Once you riddle me that, huh? How many hot girls that anyone would really be excited about dating would be apprehensive about dating someone who listens to Joe Rogan? Once you go ahead and do that, once you include that in your data point, oh, that woke chick doesn't want to date a Joe Rogan fan? Oh my gosh, are you serious? What about that girl with the purple hair over there that weighs 150 pounds and she's 4'3"? No, she doesn't want to either. Oh, that's all right, because she's 4'3", so she's a midget. Okay, so what about that girl right there? She's 7'4", and I can't tell if her eyes are her nose. Like I'm having trouble figuring out what her face is doing. I don't know. She's a weird looking chick. I never would have actually noticed all of this stuff, but you're making me evaluate them as sexual partners. And yeah, no, I would. No, man, I never realized how many girls there were that I wouldn't sleep with, and all of them are in your 55. Like, are you serious? This is a non-existent stat that does not matter. Give me a break. Now, let's go ahead and read this article because this is hilarious, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about Russel Brand. Since the dawn of time, men have been on an endless quest to figure out what women want. There was even a movie made with that exact title. This is, by the way, the woke idiot one. Thanks to research, surveys, and the internet, we are learning more about some of these answers. One day, perhaps, these very same men might actually ask the women in their lives what they want. But that might be expecting too much. This seems like a really objective person, One of the newest findings is that women do not want a guy who listens to Joe Rogan's podcast. Really? Hold on. Oh, really? Wait. One of the newest. This is perfect journalism. One of the findings is that women do not want a guy who listens to Joe Rogan's podcast. Really? Is that what the study said? Or did that say 55%, which generally are the fat purple-haired girls, don't want to date anyone who listens to Joe Rogan? You know what I mean? And not to mention, I don't even believe that stat, but nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, or 55% of the brainwashed morons that you guys have, sectioned off somehow that we wouldn't go near in a million years. And actually what would happen is if one of those weak-minded imbeciles ended up dating a guy who does listen to Joe Rogan, we would completely change her mind within a week, okay? If you have them brainwashed so much that they won't listen to Rogan, how long do you think it would take for us to change their mind? Fucking 6 dates tops before they would completely reverse every opinion that they have? This supplement fueled, this is a word I actually don't know. Cacophony? A harsh, discordant mixture of sounds. The Joe Rogan podcast is a harsh, discordant mixture of sound. Also known as the Joe Rogan Experience, is somehow the most popular podcast in the world. Oh, hey, you want to know how you could find out how? You stupid You could listen to it once, okay? How about that? How about you listen to it one fucking time, and then you could talk about it? Ignorant fucking idiot. Rogan signed exclusively with Spotify in a deal reportedly worth about $100 million, which makes me hate him even more. I am not a Rogan fan. Oh, who would have fucking known that, dude? And truth be told, I find him very irritating. He is the epitome of a douchey bro who thinks he knows everything, but in reality is actually dumb as bricks. Rogan also has a history of spreading COVID-19 misinformation in addition to transphobic talking points. He does book many influential guests on his show, and he will talk with them at length about a variety of topics, from their lives to current events. I think this may help boost the popularity of his show because I just do not understand his individual appeal. Let's look up what this trash bag looks like. Of course, dude. Would you guess that that thing is in that small percentage that I or you would be interested in making into an intimate partner? What do you think? Do you think that I would be, if she said I would never date a guy who listens to the Joe Rogan podcast, I'd be like, hey, trust me, you don't want me to get into the categories that you fit in that I would never want to date. You really want to play that game? Are you sure? Let's do it. Let's play that game. I would never date a guy who listens to the Joe Rogan podcast. Oh, okay. I would never date a girl who is over 140 pounds. What do you weigh? What? I'm just saying. 140 is 25 pounds heavier than my wife, too. Like, that's on the high side. So I'm just saying, like, that's a thing. So what do you weigh? This is why I would never date someone who watches Joe Rogan. You sure you still want to keep playing this? What else? You are a douche. Mm-hmm. You're a brainwashed trash bag who I can tell you every opinion that you have on every single topic without asking you a single thing about your life. You are the most predictable human being in the history of the world because none of your thoughts are your own. It's embarrassing. I look at you and I see a person that I would be embarrassed to be related to. I also find you not attractive at all. If you lost 35, 40, 50 pounds, I still would find you utterly repulsive. I find nothing attractive about you. Not your personality, not your face, not your body, not your mind. There's nothing attractive about you at all. You could do a complete 180 politically. You could go and all of a sudden agree with me on everything. You could get in absolutely perfect shape, and I still would find you sexually repulsive. What else you got? Sorry. I told you, dude. I told you. Whenever they talk about Rogan, I just I lose my shit. I don't know why, dude. It's like, it's just like absolutely infuriating. So yeah, dude, if you if you guys had designs on dating a bunch of woke whales, I would suggest, ditching your habit of listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. All right, so let's switch gears. Let's talk about Russel Brand. They went to every single one of his known sexual partners. They reached out to them, okay? That's been proven now. Now, when I said you cannot trust these allegations, important points, when this came out and I said you cannot trust this, the reason that I gave you is I said there is a range of like a decade of these girls who never filed police reports, and all of a sudden they're all coming out at the same time. What does that tell you? It's simple. It means that they got an investigator to go out and find them. That's the only explanation. Because A, none of these were serious enough for a police report, so how did they find all of them? How on earth could they have possibly found these girls? Where's the report? They would have had to go find them, right? They would have had to go dig them up. They have to dig these girls up. That's the only thing that makes sense. I knew it instantly. It's obvious. And now, 24 hours later, we've learned, because a girl who is one of the girls that they reached out to, released these messages, and it's some New York Times reporter that's like, hey, this is really, really sensitive stuff, but we want to talk to you about something and we want to do it on the phone. And then she asked why, and they literally said, we don't want our communications to be released more widely. So they're intentionally doing it underhanded because they don't want anyone to see when they ask questions like, was there ever a time where he made you feel uncomfortable at all? And listen, I understand these things get a little freaky. Everybody likes a little kink, but did he ever choke you or anything like that? Like, did you ever feel choked? Did he ever want to restrain you or, was there ever a time, listen, we're not saying he assaulted you, but was there ever a time where you felt uncomfortable before you guys got into the deed? Okay. If you talk to 200, they said 200 women they reached out to, 200. Okay. And out of 200 women, okay, I don't care who you are, dude. Out of 200 women, you are going to find an impressionable, not as, apt to stand up for themselves girl that can be railroaded into saying something that can then be painted as this. They're all anonymous. We're not going to quote you, right? We're not going to quote you. We're not going to say who you are. We're just going to, we're just kind of, trying to get an idea of what we're dealing with. They're anonymous, right? And they can change what they say. One of the accusers, it turns out, said that his behavior was so egregious that he had apologized afterwards. Like, he actually apologized for that one, Okay, what it turns out is that he had sex with her without a condom, and then she asked him to get an STD test. He apologized and then said, yes, he would definitely go do that. You're a really nice girl. They released the text messages. He sounds like a complete gentleman, okay? That's assault. Didn't wear a condom and then was willing to go get an STD test to show her that everything's fine. That's assault now. Okay. The girl who is 16, so the 16-year-old thing, right? Like that, I was like, man, all right, that sounds on the ropes. Well, it turns out in the UK, the age of consent is 16. I'm not saying that's an awesome thing, but it's not illegal, right? If it's even true. Who knows if it's even true? Okay? There's not one criminal report here. So they went out and they reached out to exactly what I said is exactly what they did, okay? These are smear campaigns, and they are intentionally doing it. And if I was going to speculate on why, I would look at are there any new medical treatments that are being recommended right now? Are they doing a global push for a new type of treatment of any kind that maybe Rogan and Russel Brand have shared information that would be inconvenient to the adoption of those products? Anybody? Oh, really? Like a brand new one right now? Like right now? Yeah, like right now. Like literally right now. Really? Huh. Are there any recommendation, variances from country to country that maybe, people don't want you talking about? Like recommending for all people 6 months old and older in the United States, and variances of up to only, 65 and older in the UK. Okay, that's too much. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't want people calling around my previous sexual partners, even though they probably wouldn't remember, because I haven't had any new ones in 18 years or something like that, as far as you know. I'm just kidding. But it is just so laughably egregious and intentional, and I do not believe it at all. I don't believe it. I'm going to just openly say, I do not believe it. I'm not even going to leave this open for interpretation. I don't care. I don't believe it. I don't believe that Russel Brand did anything wrong. I don't care. I'm dealing in absolutes. I don't believe it, dude. I don't believe it. I do not believe it, and history is my template. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the Rogan thing, okay? So the reason this is so hilarious, right? The reason this is so hilarious and the reason why I needed to give that context, right, is this, okay? Let me just say, the context is because, just some things to think about. Now, going back to Russel Brand, he has had all of his shows canceled. Not a single shred of evidence whatsoever. Just some scumbag that they hired to go dig up a bunch of dirt on him, and a handful of girls that have their stories skewed and misrepresented in an article and a documentary that they're making. And, by the way, new jab on the loose. Hey, there's a new jab, in case you guys haven't heard. And if you have a child that's 7 months old, they're recommending that you give it to it. So you should probably get on that, because I think that would be a really smart decision. You should definitely do it, dude. Definitely. This is probably enough. Hey, Luke Thomas. Look at his name, Jesse on Fire. What a joke. Well, now you know why. Now you know why. Unless you would characterize my personality in a different way after watching this. Not that Luke would get this far in a video. He'd be all, no, Russel Brand is a disgusting spreader of misinformation. Be like, I actually have high hopes for Luke that after the experience of me, exposing his misinformed, previous opinions, that maybe he looked into things and now he is in the process of metamorphosis into one of us, where he'll look at this article and he'll go, come on, right? Do you see yet, Luke Thomas? As soon as you see and you understand, you can reach out to me and I will apologize for being such a dick in that one video, and we can start talking about intelligent topics like, look at this. Look at this. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, dude. That's why I broke your balls, dude. I broke your balls because I knew you'd get mad and I knew you would investigate exactly what I said, because you'd want to get back at me, and then you would inevitably stumble onto information where you'd be like, oh, shit. Even if you don't like me, you'll end up on our side, which is, worth a temporary conflict with you, because look at this shit. Just look at what they're doing. Russel Brand this is not real. They reached out to 200, they read all of his books. Okay, they read all of his books and they tried to identify every sexual partner that they could, and then they reached out to them in clandestine form so that they could create this idea. This guy's probably had sex with 5,000 women, dude. And the best they could do is find things from 10 to 17 years ago. Oh my God, I forgot about this. The best one. They're like, when he was doing this show, he flashed his penis to a girl who was working on set and asked her for a BJ. That's in the article, right? So turns out the end of that story is she went into his dressing room and banged him. That doesn't seem relevant. That doesn't seem like a relevant thing to just put in the initial article, that like she ended up actually having sex with him consensually. It's like, oh wow, disgusting. You think she might have been giving him a signal if he just was like, hey, you can have this, and she's like, ooh, delicious. It's like, that doesn't sound like assault to me, brother. Sounds like someone trying to misrepresent things. Anyway, that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I love you guys. Stick up for Russel Brand. Stick up for Joe Rogan. Don't let him do it, dude.